Hey, my name is Bret. I go by Dirtbike Boyfriend. I'm here for KTWH, Two Harbors Community Radio, in my house in Duluth, Minnesota. And this is a song that I wrote called The State of the World. The world is not lost, and we could turn around still. We could burn it down, or we could keep our town still. But something's not working, it's clear all around here. The haze has been building, and we can't see the ground here. Well, how can we drink it? We know that we're downstream from that money-making building where everything is brown still. It's impossible now to live off this land, and greedy corporations have all laid their hands. Well, the landlord wants more, so I've got a plan. Let's burn all our cash, just live in my van. Miles to go still, and we could go home, but I still feel hopeful that if that don't work out, we'll move to the country, we'll build our own house. At least we'll have something to hang over our heads when winter starts dumping. And if we get hungry, I guess I'll go hunting. Well, what will we tell them when somebody comes here and says that they're a baker and we've already got one here? Well, I'm sure we'll still take them, and it will become clear that there's enough bacon to feed everyone here. And we've got the ground still, yeah, we've got each other. At least you're around still, and we won't become like everyone else, just selling their souls, living for themselves. And I call you my family. If you call me your friend, you don't have to ask me, you know what I meant. But you could still question when things don't make sense. Some things might go down, and in that event, don't cling to me close or go where you're sent. Just fight with your teeth and speak with your chest. My hope is not lost, that things could still shake out, but maybe we should hold hands in case we don't make it out. So that's that. That was The State of the World. I wrote that song probably just over a year ago. I know that was kind of the first one that I thought, like, I gotta play this for people, and I gotta, like, maybe see if it, like, takes me somewhere or something like that. So I start, I think, every set off with that song, because it makes me feel good. It makes me warm up.
So, State of the World. So you have a favorite line, a favorite. Yeah. Is it a favorite line or a favorite verse in your lyrics?
It's a line. It's how the verse builds up to the line. But it's in the second verse, the end of the line. I say, what do we do if somebody comes here and there's a baker and we already have one here? Well, I'm sure we'll still take them, and it will become clear that there's enough bacon to feed everyone here. And, like, I love rap music, and I love double entendres. So, like, bacon and baking right there, and then to feed everyone here. There's something about that line that I love saying. I smile every time I say it. One time I did it at an open mic, and someone said, "Oh, that was good," like right after I said it, because I go into the verse without saying anything, the first couple chords, and I don't know, it just always sticks with me to, like, when I say that to like look up and see what everyone's reaction is to that line.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but like the double entendre just makes me like so happy.
So, to clarify, is there some bacon in there, like as in pork?
Yeah. So that's like like it's like kind of a play on like there's enough food, but then there's also enough work to feed everyone here, to keep everyone busy. I think is kind of like more so what I'm trying to get at than like there's like bacon and then there's like bread that we're baking or something like that in the double entendre. It's more so about like living off the land and like providing for ourselves kind of idea. In like multiple ways. That song is like really me trying to like present my idea for what to do like when the world is ending and everything goes to hell. Like what do I do? Okay, I guess I'll take my lover or my friends or whatever in my van and we'll run off into the country and start a commune or something like that.
Yeah. And it's okay if there's two bakers.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's bacon.
The next song I have up is called "The Cops Freak Me Out," and there's a line in this song that it makes me so happy to play right here because it's about sitting right here and looking out this window, and just being anxious about the cops sitting across the street. At the Chinese restaurant. The cops freak me out, and yeah, I break the law, but the law is unjust, and it's not my fault. The cops freak me out. Why are they parked right there? Shut up, why do you care? They might remember my hair, and I can tell from their stares that they could smell in the air that we've been breaking from dare. I really doubt that they care. Hurry, let's break for the stairs. Hey man, what happened back there? You look so senseless and scared. Why would you run from a cop? That's just suspicious as fuck. I think that was the same one that I saw last month when I was smoking out front. He hit that kid with his gun. The cops freak me out, and yeah, I break the law, but the law is unjust, and it's not my fault. The cops freak me out. I was just smoking outside, and they ran right by, chasing a kid with a knife, and I was scared for my life, not from that kid with a knife. I saw their guns in the light from the street signs. It was night, so I ducked out of their sight. I watched him run for his life. I watched him slip on the ice. Instead of kicking the knife, they started kicking his spine. I started losing my mind. I tried to run back inside, but I stepped into the light, and they yelled, "Come back outside." The cops freak me out, and yeah, I break the law, but the law is unjust, and it's not my fault. The cops freak me out. Why are they parked right there? Shut up, why do you care? The cops freak me out, and yeah, I break the law, but the law is unjust, and it's not my fault. The cops freak me out. They're always across the street. I think they're watching me. Dude, they're just getting Chinese. They'll catch me smoking weed. they wanna bother me. Take all my ecstasy, then they will sentence me, and they will make me clean. That's if it gets that far. What if we get to the car and it's late and it's dark and we drive out to a park? What if they laugh and they start pointing their guns at my heart? I plead I'm young and I'm smart, but the barrel still sparks. The cops freak me out, and yeah, I break the law, but the law is unjust, and it's not my fault. That's a fun one to play. You wouldn't believe how often I mix up the verses on it.
Cops freak out a lot of people. So that was inspired by looking at those cops doing probably nothing. Just downtime at the Chinese restaurant.
It started actually at Wusso's concert cafe in West Duluth. I was leaving, and there's always a cop that's parked on the when you're leaving that area of West Duluth. You exit left right onto Highway 35 to get back here, and there's always a cop that's sitting kind of off the side, on the slope or whatever. And that was when the "why are they parked right there" came to me. So that was the first verse. And then I came home, and then there's a cop sitting across the street, and there's always a cop sitting across the street or whatever, just down the street from my house. And I'm always either here or I'm, right next door at work. So then I always see them sitting there for an hour or two, and I'm like, what are they doing? Yeah. I wanted to kind of just really put into words how I felt about the cops and what it was, and and so it's a fictional story, but it is it's very much so.
It's a story. That's a real story.
Yeah, it happens.
That happens.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is called Painting, and if State of the World and The Cops Freak Me Out were the two that I wrote that made me think oh, maybe I could do it, and maybe people would like these and stuff, and people did kind of respond well to them. This one, Painting, that I wrote maybe 2 months ago, I was kind of in a funk, and it was the first song I've written in a long time. It feels like it hasn't really been that long, but it feels like a long time that I just wanted to keep writing and keep working on and making better and better. And then finally, about a week ago, I added the fourth verse to it. So I hope I remember the fourth verse right now. Well, I know that you take this seriously, but I can't take your painting seriously. You've got a scene inside your mind that is bigger than the space. There is paint around the room, there is paint upon your face, and you feel way too confined by the limits of this place. There are limits to your love, there are limits to your grace, and you've torn it all apart, rearranged it every way. Yeah, you swear to fucking God, there's just no fucking way. Well, you know that you take this seriously, but I can't take your painting seriously. Well, it's a forest scene that's abundantly clear. There is lots of green and a sense of air. You're a darling deer in a frozen fog, and your home's deforested. Yeah, it's all been logged. There are rabbits in the corner that are hiding from a dog, and you do not believe, but they're praying to the gods. Well, I know that you take this seriously, but I can't take your painting seriously. Well, there's blood on some hands and a notion of relief, and the shade of the red leaves a hint at your motif. There's a hatchet in my head and I'm missing my teeth. There's a crowd that's formed all around me, and all of this on a city street by a closed down club where we'd always meet. Well, I know that you take this seriously, but I can't take your painting seriously. Well, you've got mounds of talent, you've got mounds of clothes. You're a regular Picasso, you're an average Joe. You've been acting like an asshole, and someone should let you know if you're ever gonna make it, gotta let that shit go. You should clean up all the brushes, you should disinfect the mold, 'cause you can't keep getting sick if you're ever gonna grow.
Painting. What's the full name of painting?
Just painting. It was painting seriously, but then I was like, whoa, that's just a weird name for a song. So just painting.
Yeah, painting. Painting was interesting. That one was it was almost self-defamating. Defamating for yourself. Would you say it was kind of a self-defamating song?
Yeah.
There's a lot of metaphors.
Yeah.
Would you say so some of it isn't really painting the way, would you say that it's not really all the way through it, taking a brush and paint and applying that to
it's
canvas?
like, I think it's again, it was just like a stream of consciousness of like, I wrote, the very first thing I wrote was what is now the third verse of the song with the, there's blood on some hands and a notion of relief. And the shade of the red leaves a hint at your motif. I thought that was like really like clever to like write that. So then I was like, well, I should, do a song where I have 3 verses where I'm, 3 different scenes, painting 3 different scenes. And then I wrote what is now the first verse. And I was like, I'm not really painting a scene in this in terms of like a canvas, but I am painting a scene of like an artist that's like struggling to make a painting.
Yeah.
And for the longest time I had the first 3 verses and I didn't know what to do with it, and I thought like, they don't really flow right in this order and they don't really flow right in any other order, and I really liked ending with what is now the first verse because the end of it is really strong, and I say the F word twice, and I really like to swear at the end of my songs. Mm-hmm. And then just like a week ago, I was staring at all the clothes on the ground in my room and like thinking about like, I have so many like painting and drawing and blah, blah, blah projects that are just kind of sitting there. And I was like, get a grip, guy, like, do better. And then I was like, wait, that's a verse. And if I sandwich the 2 self-deprecating verses in the top and the bottom, and then I put the 2 like scenes in the middle, then it's kind of like a whole story in itself or something. Yeah. And I tried really hard to make it kind of vague that I'm talking about myself, but I think anyone who knows me could immediately see through that. This next one is entirely different. So this is called Amor, and I did take some French in high school, but I don't remember any of it, and I think it just means love fire is a rough translation. Remember when it's the lowest form of conversation, I've been in bed watching with a morbid fascination. Amor, I am running out of patience. I need you like a forged financial statement that says I do something boring on the daily, but I'm with you counting dirty cash with my baby Amor. May the fire bind us to Amor. May the fire bind us to. Like Tony said, I do not fear assassination. Kill the head. There are bodies you'll be facing. Amor. We both know that I want you. Is it the light or the heat that makes me fight to keep my place, or to not spit in your face? I keep my cool. That's how a real made man moves. Amor. May the fire bind us to Amor. May the fire bind us to. We go to eat at our favorite restaurant. Who's to say what is next or what's to come? You hold my hand. I've got a plan to make it out of this town and this crime-infested house. I look around. Something caught my eye just now. Look back down. Don't see a thing or hear a sound. So the end of that song's supposed to be like a play on how The Sopranos ends, and it just cuts to black and it just ends. Sometimes the delay pedal plays nicely with me there, where it just cuts off, and sometimes it fades out like that. Like, I don't really have much of a problem of kind of explaining exactly what my songs are about. Mm-hmm. So it started off about this relationship that I had that, like, I knew wasn't, like, the right thing from the beginning. And then like it went horribly, and you know, but then even after everything had passed, like, I still kind of, like, longed for that relationship. And then I was depressed in bed and watching The Sopranos, and this concept of amour fou, of the fly sees the flower on fire and goes towards the fire and dies because it loves the light so much. Mm-hmm. And there's something, I don't know, about that, of like totally sacrificing yourself, like, emotionally and stuff like that for something that you know is not, it's gonna end in flames. Yeah. And
get so close to that flame.
And it's kind of about love. It's kind of not about love. It's kind of, I can say the same thing about dirt bikes. Like, I love it, but it's like tearing my body apart, and I can't do it too much longer. So how do you reconcile that kind of love? Up next, I've got a song about my job, and I actually have a funny story to share. So today, December 4th is when we're recording this. This is the 3-year anniversary of the first time I ever played a song for anyone live, ever. And the guitar is actually on the table right there. It's de-stringed and it's all torn apart. But I had a class where the end goal for the final project was to present an art form that you'd never done before in front of everyone. And I always wanted to make music, and I never did. So I grabbed this old guitar from my parents' house, and I didn't tune it, and I didn't put new strings. It was like missing like 2 strings. And I was like I had it in my lap like this, and I was like pounding on it and like plucking strings with a pick, and I don't use a pick anymore. So that was the first time I ever played a song in front of people. It was 3 years ago today. It was called Great Big Party, and if I could play it, I totally would. And I think the funniest part about it is it was about how I was graduating school and I was going to quit my job and I was going to go do cool things, and they were going to go throw a great big party at work because I was leaving, and everyone would be really happy that I was leaving. And lo and behold, 3 years later, I still work there. I have a full-time job there now. And here's another song about how I hate my job. But I really love my job, but I do hate it a little bit. So I don't know where I land on that. I change back and forth every single day. This is called Side Effects. Well, it feels like I just cannot win, and there's no sense in even trying. Yeah, it feels like I just cannot win, and there's no sense in even trying. Well, my back hurts when I lie in bed, and when I get up, I just lose my head, and my stomach aches when I try to eat, so I just sit right here for about half an hour, and I think too much about what never was, never enough about what's right in front, and I trip so much when I stand up. There are real dark bags under both of my eyes. And when I walk to work, I throw my shoulders out, 'cause I've carried all this stuff in a backpack pouch since a little kid. My grandma's house, I missed her funeral to work here. I'm often breaking down as I do my job. I chew my nails down till they're just a nub, and my fingers ache from all those little pricks that I just have to take to pay my bills. Well, it feels like I just cannot win, and there's no sense in even trying. Yeah, it feels like I just cannot win, and there's no sense in even trying. That's a really fun one to play. It was kind of inspired by, like, I've been listening to a lot of country western music, kind of like to my dismay. Like, I grew up listening only to rap music, like exclusively like the hardest, coolest hip-hop music there is. And then at some point I started going to rock shows at Blush, and I realized, like, I actually do really like rock music, so I listened to a bunch of rock music. And then I got into some, like, older rock music that's kind of sort of like country, and where the lines were kind of blurry. And then I took a trip to the UP in Michigan for work in a work car, and I didn't have my iPod or anything like that, or my phone connected to the thing. No one uses an iPod anymore. And all I found was country stations. So I listened to a bunch of country songs, and I found out I really like Waylon Jennings. And then through that, I found out I really, really like Billy Joe Shaver. I really like not Don McLean. I take that back. I can't remember what his name is. Pat Seeger. Which Side Are You On? I really like all those like Union anthem kind of songs. So that, at least the guitar in that, and like that one's more complaining about my job. I've written some kind of like "We Must Unionize Men" kind of songs since then. But that one's maybe my favorite one to play with. Just is like, I don't know. That's just really fun to me to do. All of my songs are like, I'm learning this recently. There's like no music theory in that I know. I don't know anything about music theory, so there's no music theory in my songs, but it's just like the things that I like to do, like the noises that I want the guitar to make just over and over and over, and then I put some words to it, and then hopefully people will like it. So that's kind of building. I am kind of learning a little bit, to like my own dismay a little bit. I want to be punk rock and I want to be cool, but I am learning. So someday maybe I'll make a song like someone else, but I don't think that's happened yet. All right. This is a song I wrote called Capital, and I would call it a protest song if I would call it anything. And it's really fun to play in big open spaces where I can yell a lot. And in my living room, sometimes it feels like I'm just like shouting to myself, and the neighbors are gonna like come over and knock on the door and stuff and see what's going on. So this is Capital, and maybe the neighbors are listening right now. So
maybe there's cops across the street.
Maybe. There's a sign in your face and it says you should buy. How can you in this race if you don't even try? You have to get first place. There's no time to ask why, and you get so worked up that you just start to cry. Well, it's not your fault that what your heart wants is at odds with the state, but you don't want to die. That process eliminates. There's no other reason why, and it's clear, bright as day, that you have to get by. So you get so worked up that you just start to cry. Well, there's just some things that they have to know. So let's march down to the Capitol. They'll say, how can we change? You know, we've never even tried. Besides, you're insane, and everything you think is lies. So let's just play this game, and don't you ever ask why. Don't you get so worked up that you just start to cry? Because they think it's best not to control this mess. So there's guns abound, you better watch your eyes. Don't you look around, they'll remind you you're alive. So get used to the sounds of when your friends die, and when you get so worked up that you just start to cry. Well, there's just some things that they have to know. So let's march down to the Capitol. They'll say they'll carry to term, they'll lock you away, but they don't give a damn in 9 months in a day, and they don't give a fuck if your life's on the line. So don't get so worked up that you just start to cry, 'cause there's things to do, rebuild this world anew. 'Cause there's no sense acting weak when that's how we're perceived. Punch 'em right in the teeth, drag 'em out in the street. Do whatever you must for to retain your rights. Just don't get so worked up that you just start to cry. because there's just some things that they have to know. So let's march down to the Capitol. All right. That one felt nice. I like when sometimes I'm singing so hard I get a little bit of like tears forming in my eye. And I don't know if it's because like the songs I write are emotional or if it's just because I'm like trying that hard. But it feels like, you know, that's what you're supposed to be doing when you're singing. So this is the last one I prepared. This is a cover of a song from my favorite band in the world, Bright Eyes. This is True Blue. And I think it's totally like my own version of it. I can't play a song like anyone else plays a song. But my next move, whenever I have money again, whenever someone books me for a show and I get paid, I'm going to buy a harmonica, and then this will be like the most perfect, complete song in my entire repertoire. But this is True Blue by Bright Eyes. I am a blue blood, I will admit that. I dance in blue shoes, I wear a blue hat, live in a blue town, on a blue street, in a blue house, by a blue creek. I write my blue songs with a blue pen, sing the blue notes to my blue friends. Now kid, I don't know too much about you, but I like you because you're true blue. I had a blue dream about a blue star, and it drove there in my blue car. And when I got there, I met a blue dog. He had a blue tongue. We had some real fun. We bounced a blue ball, broke a blue glass, banged on blue drums. We called it bluegrass. I guess the thing I'm trying to tell you is that it's best, kid, if you're true blue. Once I had gangrene, I had it real bad, and so the doc came with his black bag. I said, you know, doc, I don't feel swell. If you had a blue bag, I think I'd get well. So he came right back with a blue sack. He said, will this do? I said, why not? Yeah, that's how I'm here today, to tell you that it's best, kid, if you're true blue. Out on the blue sea, I sailed a blue ship. I had a first mate, always had blue lips. His name was Bluebeard, he had a weird twitch. We flew a blue flag on a big stick, and we ate bluegill, and we ate blue chips. Oh, I felt real blue, eating that blue fish. But there ain't much that I won't do, unless it keeps me from being true blue. Once in a blue moon, there's a blue sky. I wear my blue jeans, I fly a blue kite, things like a bluebird until the wind dies, and then the tears pour out of my blue eyes. If it's your birthday, we'll bake a blue cake, and then we'll eat it off of these blue plates. Now kid, I don't know too much about you, but I like you because you're true blue. Yeah, I don't know too much about you, but I like you because you're true blue. Bright Eyes is originally out of Omaha, Nebraska. They probably, I think their first real album was like 1999, and then it's like a vehicle for Conor Oberst is the main singer, and then there's a couple other people, Mike Mogus and Nate Walcott, that are kind of the primary members of the band, and I'm like obsessively in love with them. And I've been a fan since I was like a little kid, but I really didn't go super deep into it until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And I listened to all of the albums, and I went like, oh my gosh, like no one writes a song like this guy. Like no songs hit me like this guy's songs hit me, and a lot of them are extremely personal and depressing and even more like morbid than my songs are in a way. And that True Blue is like a nursery rhyme he wrote so he could have a song to play for his nephew. And that's why I like so drawn to it, because I have so many songs that I don't feel like I could play for certain people or whatever in certain spaces and stuff like that, because it feels a little uncomfortable, whereas you
could sing that one in church.
It's just a cute little song, and it's there's a little sadness to it, but it's it's just like a little nursery rhyme and a tongue twister.
Yeah, I like that one. It's just kind of True Blue and True Blue. I mean, things are gonna go right, and we're gonna stick together.
Yeah.
So
I think it's fun. It's fun and it's funny to sing that song because I usually put it in my set list right after I do Cops Freak Me Out, and it starts with the I Am a Blue Blood, and that's that's the TV show with like Tom Selleck or whatever, and I think everyone kind of these days kind of equates that blue blood idea with the police, for better or for worse. And I like, it's funny that line is right at the start, and then near the end, in the song Conor wrote, he says, I wear my blue jeans, and I don't own any blue jeans. I haven't worn. These. But I haven't worn blue jeans since I was, I don't even know, probably like 10 or 12 years old, and I don't know. I have a lot of I find a lot of joy in singing cover songs that mean a lot to someone else. And maybe some of the lyrics don't directly apply to me, but if I can put my emotion into it, then it feels like it's kind of like a tribute to that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I like about covers.
Yeah. Like, I'm constantly learning, and like I'm so much better now than I was 6 months ago, and so much better than I was a year ago, and so much better than I was a month ago. So like, maybe if you come see me at a show after this is released, I might be even better. I might be even cleaner. I might be even sloppier. There's a chance of that too.
You might have a harmonica.
Yeah, I might have a harmonica. Yeah. And you can find me on all social media, all the streaming platforms as Dirtbike Boyfriend. I do all kinds of visual art and painting and I make videos. I've produced videos for some people. I've done some animations. I do way too many different things to ever be like the best at one thing. But I keep making it work. So I've like hosted like painting parties. I just like invite people over to like paint on a canvas, just to like hang out with my friends.
Now who's that character over there?
So that's a character I've drawn just a handful of times. That was actually, I think, that was maybe the second draft of it. That was supposed to be an official presidential portrait of Teddy Roosevelt. I might get this wrong. I think he was the 40. No, he wasn't the 40th. He was like the 36th president of the United States or something like that. Thank you for listening to Two Harbors Community Radio.